the Belichickian people would really, one second. The Belichickian people would really. I've heard this type of thing from them before, and you know, he starts off the article by kind of saying that if you think Belichick, essentially saying if you think Belichick should be fired, you're an idiot. And hey, I get that. Very successful person, has obviously one of the greatest minds in football, a hard worker, truly. I can't take much away from him. He goes on to say that people try to diminish his career through his other non-Brady filled seasons. I think that, I just don't know enough about his time in Cleveland to really say. I'm not a huge fan of Cleveland 90s football. So, yeah, it's just a tough one for me, but it's hard to justify losing at the end of the day. You're either a winner or a loser, right? Tom Brady, if he'd won it more in his career, he'd be more of a winner, and if he'd lost more Super Bowls, he wouldn't be considered the GOAT. That's what it is. Stupid argument. But, yeah, they try to justify losing, saying that, but whatever. So, yep, he had the Matt Castle year, very awesome. The reason we thought we would not be screwed, we were. I really don't want to He goes and continues and comes to the conclusion that the Super Bowls, even the Rams, or especially the Rams one, should serve to prove why he's the greatest coach of all time to this very day, and says Belichick deserves more benefit of the doubt than anyone who has ever coached an NFL game. Got that? Good. Now that we acknowledge the truth, he had burned off some of that benefit this season. Not all of it, not even close, but some. And even if he has one more season that mirrors this one, it will be fair to wonder in which direction this franchise is headed and whether the phase of his career in life he's the right person to guide it. Sorry I can't read. But essentially what he's saying is that next season, post, losing record, we can finally take a moment to decide where this franchise... Why can't we now? Why can't we decide where the franchise is going now versus 1 year from now? Because you still can't believe... Because some people still can't believe that it was Tom Brady carrying it for the last 20 years. I mean, I get it. Cam Newton was horrible. Mac Jones, not that great. He has only made horrible decisions. It's not like outside of these, these quarterbacks, it's going well. He's a horrible GM. Let's get that straight. He's horrible. Every aspect of being a GM. He cannot draft. He does not want to pay his players. He does not sign good free agents. He just doesn't. Yes, defensively. Okay, defensively he does. Because, he's a great defensive... It's half the game. It's only half the game. If your offense sucks, you're not a good quarterback, are you? Quarterback. You're not a good coach, are you? We don't sit here and say Rex Ryan, the greatest coach of all time, because he was good at defense. No. No one does. No one talks about any quarterback like that. It's maybe offensive coaches, but not a defensive coach, because you're not going to win a championship with a defensive coach. Just somebody who cares about defense and not offense? No. Never. And he doesn't care about offense. You can say, yeah, he does. Look at all the effort he put. Where is the people that he wants running his offense? Who's the captain? Who's the leader of this offense? Offensive lineman? David Andrews? Nobody cares. Nobody, it just doesn't work like that. It just does not. Your best player on offense can't be your lineman. Like, it's a joke. It's a joke. And so, why is it that next. Okay, so maybe the coach, Bill Belichick, we can question the franchise. He's the GM too. Can we. I, I can question a mid-level GM. Maybe not the greatest coach of all time, but a mid-level GM, yeah, you can question it. And like I just think I didn't come from that generation of sitting around and kissing Bill Belichick's toes because I wasn't fully grown through a lot of his run. And hey, maybe that's why I don't have the experience to know to kiss his toes. But I think a lot of people in Boston are afraid to take that step. Why? Why? All the greatest coaches have ended up failing at the end of their career. That's why they left. They either retired at the top or they left, right? Well, did he retire at the top? Because I don't think he's getting to the top again. So he's going to get left. It's what happens. I think it's insane that we're going to have multiple losing mid-level picks, multiple losing seasons, not horribly losing, just mid 8-9, 7-10, 9-8. Maybe we make the playoffs. Maybe we don't. Who cares? We'll get destroyed by somebody anyway. Who would we have beaten this year? Nobody. We're not beating anybody with this roster. Hunter Henry sucks. I'm sorry, he sucks. Jonnu Smith is worse. Freaking, oh my god. They are all considered. None of these people are stars on good teams. You take any of these players and you put them on a team that we consider top of the level. Guess what? Maybe Jacoby Myers is doing something. Maybe Kendrick Bourne. But they're not ones. They're not ones. That's just not how it is. So, let's talk about it. Clearly, I mean, clearly that Matt Patricia everybody knows he should be on. It's the fact that even if he goes, what happens? Is this team good? Like, really? And, this is probably against my point that it has to be on somebody. So if the team's still not good when Matt Patricia leaves, who's Bill Belichick? It's always Bill Belichick. Even if it's Mac Jones' fault. At this point, it's Bill Belichick's fault. Bill Belichick put Mac Jones in the position to fail. Bill Belichick put Matt Patricia in the position to fail. Who are we both blaming right now? One of them. We are blaming one of those two people. And I blame both of those people's fault on Bill Belichick. Really, right? I mean, come on. It doesn't even... There's nobody else that we can talk about who would even come close to taking or being this responsible. Robert Kraft. I mean, I hear great points all the time. Who's the highest paid coach in the league? If Robert Kraft is such a low spender, Who is one of the highest paid coaches in the league? Possibly the highest paid coach in the league. By a wide margin. At least for most coaches, Bill Belichick. Because he's high value. But if you're losing, you're not high value. And guess what? Bill Belichick's losing. He's been losing for years now. What are we going to do? Are we going to sit here, give it another season, say, hey, I guess Shula's record's only 2 seasons away now if we keep losing, but hey, we can do it. What does anybody else have to do? I spend money on tickets. You spend money on tickets, but I mean, even though it's going to be a crappy product, when you go pay to see Bill Belichick chase the Shula record? Come on. Does anybody want to do that? Who cares? Who cares about what Bill Belichick thinks about some stupid record? Really? Who cares? I mean, can we really be honest with ourselves and just sit here and say that you care about Bill Belichick's all-time win record? Because you don't. You don't. Nobody does. Okay. I think that's enough on that. I saw that on the Boston Globe. You guys should check that out when you get a chance. It was a good little rant at the beginning. I've always liked the idea of hitting the beginning of my shows with some rants. You know, just like just something to get my friggin' like blood pressure up a little bit, get the show started, just get it pumping, bumping, and rumping.